Morning, and today we're going to try and find the Belgian Enclave at Birtley. At the moment we're having a wander through Longacre Woods. Longacre Woods is a fragment of once was the larger Ravensworth estate, but it was cut off by the building of the Tyne marshalling yard in 1963. That's when that opened, and now it's on the other side is the A1, which is in the middle of redevelopment at the moment, making it wider. It's probably one of the busiest sections, definitely around this area anyway. But at the minute we're just having a wander through the wood. There's different sections of the wood. You've got mature trees and oaks and likes of that. You've got some younger ones, fairly newly planted, and you've got the ones that are about 30-year-old. The newer ones are up next to where the old A1 used to go past. And we're just having a walk towards Birtley. It's not a bad morning, a little chilly, but the sun's out. It's not a bad little walk, some decent paths, a bit clotty in places. And that sun is blinding, it's very low in the sky. And you probably just heard the main line train going down the LNER. The north or south main line runs through next to the marshalling yards. The marshalling yards were put there because of modernisation by British Rail in '63. And I think at the time it was one of the largest in Europe. I could be wrong. I think the Germans have got a bigger one now. We're getting now to the more mature part of the wood. That's a silver birch. Not much in the way of wildlife though. I don't know if you can hear, but that wind starting to pick up there. Hey, during the First World War, the British became short ammunition. So the British government commissioned factories all over Britain. And there was 2 factories built in Birtley. One for projectiles and shells, and the other one for cartridge cases. And they were both just to me right here. But with all the men being at war, and there wasn't enough women to work it, although there was a lot of them did, they came to an agreement with the Belgians, who were supposed to be the best at manufacturing that sort of shells and that. So they got soldiers off the front to come up here, as well as ones who were badly injured to where they couldn't go back to the front. They got retrained and they moved them up here, and they built houses and that next to the factory, which is where when walking now, as you see just behind me, it's all, a lot of them being knocked down. And there was dormitories for just the soldiers, but the ones with families had little cottages with gardens and everything, and it was all enclosed with a metal fence, and they had a gate which was guarded by the Belgian and British police, and the only way through the gate was if you got a special pass. I mean, as you can see, there's just a lot of green land where it's been knocked down, hasn't been built back on. A lot of the roads have got the names like Flanders Court and Elizabeth Drive. And anyway, they named the village Elizabethville after the Queen of the Belgians. And it's still called Elizabethville around here, or Lizzieville as it's locally known. And they had all their own shops, post offices, swimming pools, hospitals, even a prison, their own fire service. It was called the National Projectile Factory. And once the war finished, most of the Belgians went back home. There was some stayed, some who died didn't, obviously stayed. But you look just over here, just on my shoulder, all this area here was where the factory was. After the war, the factory became known as the Royal Ordnance Factory, and it stayed in operation on this site till about 2011 to where it moved to Washington, and BAE now own it. But I think bungalows over there and what remains of some of the cottages was roughly in that sort of design. They weren't the cottages, they're ones that were built after they knocked them down. The cottages were known as the huts. Well, yeah, all this area here was what was the National Projectile Factory, but then became known as the Royal Ordnance Factory, ROF. My father worked there for many a year. I remember walking down to meet him as he come back, cycling back from his night shift. And this here is the Elizabethville Roman Catholic Cemetery, or as the locals known, the Belgian Cemetery. And there was 13 soldiers, and don't know how many civilians from Elizabethville that were buried here during the war. And there's some locals that have been buried here since. I apologise, but it seems to be picking up. A little plaque here that tells you about it. There's over 6,000 refugees, as you can see. And the Belgian ones that came here. And you've got some of the soldier gravestones over there. These ones are the civilian ones, and down the back there is the ones for the soldiers. That's the 13 soldiers there. Don't forget, if you like these sort of videos, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, it'd be much appreciated. And also, check out the video I'm putting down there. You'll find that interesting as well.